this is Asvardwell, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Game Development Livestream. This week we're still working on Sara the Shieldmage. It's a Eastern RPG that I'm creating for Linux, PC, and web player. And this week's been kind of an interesting one. I have sort of been a little bit aimless because I've been deciding how I want the main quest line to go. I had sort of thrown away some of the the overly ambitious story bits just because it was one of those cases where I just found myself thinking, well, how am I going to do this? And it was a tunnel of, how am I going to do it? And whenever you start asking yourself that all the time, and it's like you figure out one thing and then 10 more things pop up and it just goes into a fractal of WTF, that's usually a clear sign that you want to back away from whatever that is. So I've sort of changed my design a little bit, but well, before I go into that, I also want to show you guys some of what I've been working on. Right here, you'll notice I've been working on the title, and this is kind of an interesting setup. I've been pretty much teaching myself Unity GUI. I can actually run this, and it doesn't do a whole lot right now. One of the cool things, though, is Unity GUI. Actually makes it so that you can use a gamepad pretty easily. I'm actually using my Logitech F310 that I use whenever I do my Dragon Warrior 1 speedruns right now. And you can actually see that, well, I can actually get buttons to click and stuff. I'm having a hard time figuring out more of the Unity GUI stuff, but well, I'll figure it out. This is actually the title screen is actually something that I want to be in my next my expanded thin slice. One of the reasons I want that is I really want to get started on the save and load game. I really want to get this. I want to move this thing away from being a prototype and move it into being at least a pre-alpha production. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm working on the title. I'm only gonna go back to this tonight if there's like nothing else that is within scope for the episode, because pretty much it's going to be a matter of learning how Unity GUI actually works. But luckily, there's more to this than that. Another cool thing that I've been working on, if I go into the template, you'll notice that I've moved some of the template things around. There's base female, base male in template. Um, Part of that is just because I'm rethinking some of the structure, like I'd mentioned. But a cool thing is that I've actually managed to create some idle and walk cycle animations. I need to add some of the battle animations to these. I think for as far as the characters are concerned, there's battle idle right, battle idle left. Let me go ahead and actually turn that on. I haven't actually started the battle idle animation stuff because it's not going to be useful 90% of the time. I'm actually debating cutting this layer group out before I clone the female template and modify it to create a male template. Actually, probably going to do that. You know, wait, that doesn't work like that. Okay, yeah. So there you go. I can add those sort of battle-ish animations on a case-by-case basis, but point remains. I'm going to activate this. So passing, extended, passing, extended, so on and so forth. I haven't rigged up like a character in order to fully test these animations just yet. I could do that, but I really don't want to do any pixeling in this episode. I just wanted to show you guys what I was doing. So let me go ahead and save this and let GIMP close. All right. So I've been going on about, oh, I've been working on this, oh, I've been working on that. I'm sure you guys are kind of anxious to see at this point. Well, okay, Asvardal, you've shown us all these things you've been working on. What are we going to be building tonight? Well, we're going to be starting off with some balancing. One of the things I've been working on is the ruins of Feldhold here. I'm going to go ahead and just start actually just playing through. I've been able to fix the battle UI since last week. There's some other things that I'm not quite happy with just because of the state that the game is in. But yeah, it's not glitching. It's not completely erroring out. The game is the UI got fixed. But what I am a little concerned about in my game right now is sort of the challenge level of the thing. You can see I'm going through the ruins, going ahead and solving the puzzles. Solving the puzzles opens the doors. Cave slime. Let's heal up Sara a little bit with Metal Guard. Okay, that didn't really help. She's actually at a little bit lower health than she was before. Oh yeah, whenever you solve a puzzle and you change scenes, everything gets set to the same color, so you don't have to go resolve it. There's some other, I probably need to do a lot of other things with that, but well, not this week. But yeah, you see this big kind of brown square in front of us. There's going to be a sprite that goes there. But, well, let's go forward and see what happens. Yeah, it's Thanatos, the Death Knight, one of Rosflugel's three best buddies. And actually, going into this fight with this little health is actually kind of scary. Because, yeah, Rosflugel hits a little bit hard. He's focusing Sara like crazy. As long as he, lays off whoever's the weakest, should be fine. But Sara needs to keep Metaguard up on both party members. Now, one of the reasons I'm actually playing through this battle on screen is because, well, there's some good parts of it, but there's some problems too. For one thing, it was a little bit dicey because I started the fight with low health, but ultimately, I mean, we're more than able to keep up with him. Some of that is because, well, Davis, I mean, he's a DPS character. Yeah, there you go, we just beat him. Death Knight Thanatos has about 64 health. He always gives 50 Saphirium for defeating him. But yeah, you sort of saw that fight. It wasn't like a really close battle. It was more... it was in some ways it was almost attrition, except for the fact that we were able to regenerate faster than he could damage us. It took a little while, but it just wasn't... It wasn't challenging enough for a boss fight. Oh yeah, and if we go forward, yeah, we get the Feldhold Shield of the Onseal. The Onseal is the legendary shield that is going to be Sara's ultimate weapon and will allow you to survive the final boss's final attack. Yeah, so you sort of have to have it. There's going to be something else involving that, sort of a game-wide Kaizo trap, but, well, before we get into that, let's try to solve the balance problems with Lord Rosflugel. Actually, I don't know. I was thinking we might want to do a little bit of remodeling too, because really this is a very, very simple dungeon. I'm not sure I'm okay with that, to be honest. This dungeon is And this is one of the first dungeons in the game I've created. I mean, there's only one other, and that's the Crystal Cave, which is even more simple than this. Um, Whatever, I can remodel it later. I'm well aware that my streamers are less than impressed by just doing level design on stream, and I can understand why. I can do that off stream. So let's see. First things first, I want to bypass all those puzzles. Okay, so that ought to be good. I can always just move Sara right back. Uh, Hold on one sec. Alrighty, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Here, let's go ahead and, I'll tell you what, let's not do that like that again. First thing I need to do is mess with the boss's tuning, I think. That's one of the more important things to do in this case. Some of it is that, this boss, yeah, he's really tough, but he hits like, well, he doesn't quite hit like a little girl. I mean, that's Sara. But yeah, I mean, he's got an attack value of 4, where Davis's is 2 by default. I mean, that's kind of he's definitely stronger than both Sara and Davis put together. The problem is, it's still not enough to pose a huge threat. So one of the first things I can do is I can go ahead and I can increase his attack such that it reduces the amount of time it takes for him to defeat the party. Uh, to sort of clarify that, in an RPG, one of the main design considerations for combat is called time to defeat. It's exactly like it sounds. Every entity takes a certain amount of time to defeat. Now, where things get interesting in terms of design is you can determine how easy or hard a fight is by making that margin narrower or longer. In the case of Thanatos, like you saw, his boss fight was all right, but it wasn't really great. There wasn't that feeling of always being on the edge of defeat. So, sort of the way I get around this, sort of the way you can, I say get around, but you can. It's really mitigating it altogether. The way you mitigate this is you bring the amount of time it would take for the enemy to defeat the player and bring it closer to how long it takes for the player to defeat the enemy. Um, in this case, Thanatos, um, the party was able to regenerate health way faster than Thanatos could damage them. And he's kind of a slow character, and his slowness is by design. But every time he makes an attack, it should be like, oh crap, he made an attack. Um, it's going to take the players a little while to defeat him because well, he's got 64 HP. Um, Right now, he doesn't regenerate any health, but if we go down to his abilities, he has 3 abilities that he's designed to rotate through. He uses attack, which is just a basic attack that goes off his attack rate. There's this ability Exsanguinate, which deals low damage but also applies damage over time. And then there's Blood Sword, which allows him to heal off of a player. So I mean, what he's going to do is he's going to go through these well, these are going to be his 3 attacks that are associated to him. Where it's going to get more interesting for Thanatos, though, We go to battle Thanatos. His actual sequence is a little bit different. He'll do attack, attack, exsanguinate, blood sword, blood sword. So he's going to have 2 turns where he just hurts someone a little bit. Then he's going to hit someone with a nasty damage over time that, well, Sara's going to have to deal something about. And then he's going to start using blood sword, which hurts a lot, and it allows him to regain some health. And that's supposed to be a little bit more dangerous to the players. If they don't have Sara's regeneration ticking, they're probably going to die. But let's see if we made him too hard. Now, another thing that you saw me use in that battle was Davis's War Cry ability. What that does is it increases a player's ATB speed a little bit. Okay, so he's really... oh crap, he killed Sara. Too quickly. And he's trying to beat Sara up, even though she's dead. Now we can... there's a bug there, because we can actually get off an attack. But yeah, Thanatos just wrecked us. So we might have made him a little bit too strong. Let's try scaling back toward the middle. Give him an attack value of 6 instead of 8. Let's see how this does. So we're going to go ahead and start by Metaguard and War Cry on Sara. That's intended to be a very powerful support combination. And he still kills Sara pretty quickly. And I don't think he even used Exsanguinate at that point, come to think about it. But, oh well. Let's go ahead and drop it to 5. I want him to pose more of a threat, not to be a menace to Sara's existence. Let's start with that. We'll get the DPS going with Davis. Now that's sort of Davis's role in the game, is to provide damaging abilities. Sara is supposed to be sort of a tank who uses magic in order to be more efficient at saving allies, and Sara just died. But that's okay. As long as there's a bug where Thanatos is beating up on Sara, it's actually not too bad. Except that... oh, that's a bug. Okay, so yeah, Davis would have totally been dead at that point, and one of the things that we can see from that is that Sara and Davis alone are not quite equal to defeating Lord Thanatos with their basic equipment and with their 2 basic abilities. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm completely good with that. That's sort of what I'm intending. Actually, it's not sort of what I'm intending. That is what I'm intending. Okay, so Sara needs to go down about 4 blocks to the 4th block. 1, 2. Yeah, she needs to go 1 more. Alright, there we go. Alright, so Ruins of Feldhold. I feel that Thanatos, the boss, he's going to be a little bit more menacing. He should make for a more riveting boss fight that should require players to actually do a side quest or 2 before we defeat him. And one of the other things I didn't show you is that I've got it rigged up so that the quests properly update, but that's actually pretty trivial at this point. One of the things I'm probably going to do over the next week is I'm going to go ahead and expand this wing of the dungeon. Like sort of the way I'm seeing it, this part is the sort of the cave wing of this mini dungeon, and then this part I'm going to expand with a little bit more, with about this level of complexity. So it's still going to be a simple dungeon. This is like right off to the east of Nuria City, which is where the player character begins the game. But, I don't want to make it too complex. I just want it to feel a little bit more epic. And right now, this configuration, well, you can see for yourself. This isn't the most difficult dungeon known to man. Especially not once you figure out the disco block puzzles. One of the ones I do need to fix is this disco block puzzle right here that has a chest behind it. But other than that, I mean, I'm just about done with the ruins of Feldhold. So that's going to be done probably this week. But I don't need to bore you guys with level design on stream. Instead, what I can probably do instead is try something else I've wanted to do for a little bit. You probably noticed that Garland, his boss fight, it sure didn't sound like a boss fight. It sounded just like every other random battle in the game. And you know what? That cannot be allowed to stand, ladies and gentlemen. We need to give him some kick-ass boss music. Not the item get fanfare. That's neither kick-ass nor boss music. So, one of the things I went into tonight wanting to do was something a little bit different. And what I'm going to be doing is actually see. Okay, cool. That's all right. I was worried first. I had to mute my microphone a little bit earlier, and I was worried that I was forgetting something and just sort of quietly broadcasting, but no, that's not the case. Well, I want to do a little bit of music composition. It's something that I really enjoy doing on my games. I actually have a minor in music, and well, it's pretty fun, and it's a diversion from some of the tedium that you get in writing code for a game and editing levels and editing data and messing with sprites. You guys probably see a lot of that on other streams, and well, I want to show you guys something just a little bit different. Now, whenever you're writing music for much of anything, the first place you guys really want to start with is a strong melody. Now, you probably heard I don't know if you guys have actually played through my thin slice yet, but there's a little lick that goes through all my stuff that's sort of like. Actually, no. There's and then it just leads off into other things, and that's sort of that's sort of like one of the underlying motives of the musical part of this game, as far as I'm seeing it. But I want to do something a little bit different because this is a boss theme. This doesn't have anything to do with the legendary on seal given to mankind by the goddess or what have you. No, this is the theme of like Ross Flugel's minions. This is the cream of his evil crop. This is what the bad guys rock out to when they're in their evil shower in the evil morning. So well, actually need actually we need some more tracks. So let me go ahead and create some more. Now the reason I had four is because well, other than four meaning death, um, there's actually four real parts to a standard orchestra. You've got your sopranos, which are your very highest voice. In Western music, they often are the melodic line from most of the time. Then you've got your alto line, which usually provides sort of a either a counter melody or will fill in chords that support your main melody. You've got your tenor line, which actually comes from an Italian term, tenere, to hold. They'll usually play sort of sustained notes that are like the core of your chord. And then, of course, you've got the bass line. They add all sorts of coolness. Bass is awesome, and not just in Mega Man either. Though he's cool in that too. I will grant you that. So let me go ahead and also name these. Now, what we're doing here, from a slightly more technical standpoint, getting away from musicianship very briefly, is we are creating a MIDI. This is a MIDI um, is an acronym for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. It's really more of a input thing than anything else. But what's great about MIDI is um, it's almost like a a way to program music for an audio card. Now it hasn't now MIDI in and of itself hasn't been actually actually no, it has been widely used recently, but only from certain companies like sort of like Nintendo, who have very specific ways of utilizing MIDI music. One of the things that the Zelda franchise has been criticized for is still using MIDI music, but it's actually more common than you would think, and that's why I have this second program up here. This is called SynthFont. You do have to pay a little bit for it, but what you can do is you can provide files like these that are called sound fonts. And what they do is they take the sequenced MIDI music that usually your audio card would have to interpret however it will, and it will instead produce a file that plays that music the same no matter what system you run it on. And you can alter which sound font you're using to achieve different and higher quality sounds. In this way, you can get better quality music even if you're an indie like me who doesn't have a huge audio budget. And that's very important. Um, Music in most games is a deal breaker for most players. There's actually on Steam a game I've been playing through a little bit called The Repopulation. It's an MMORPG, sort of an old school one, and its music's horrible. It's awful. I'm sorry. But enough about their game. Let's get back to ours. So probably one of the first things I really want to do. Actually, I need to create another track, but we need some rock and percussion. And I'm going to clone that. Sort of the way I like to get these more conflict-driven tunes going is I like to have sort of establish the rhythm and the basic chord structure and then start embellishing it and then embellish it some more and then add a climax and then sort of diminish the action, take it in a different direction, then loop it to prepare it to go back to the opening phase. It's sort of it really is sort of a common setup as far as music writing goes, but well, let's get started. One of the things that I've found with conflict music, you hear it between Yoko Shimomura, you hear it with Nobuo Uematsu's works, is they sort of has a dum 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 sort of rhythm. It's like two dotted quarters followed by just a normal quarter. It sort of lends an asymmetric feel to 4/4 or common time, and well, I want to go ahead and use that. So Actually, no. Let's go ahead and start with the bass. The bass is the heartbeat of your sound. And I also like to write conflict tunes in G minor. I feel that G minor is a very a kind of a dark, a conflicted key to write in. Of course, as you're writing your own compositions, you should definitely feel free to experiment. I mean, if you do things right, E minor can be, or E major can be dark and evil and mysterious if you want. But yeah, I'm a little bit more orthodox in my practices. So let's go ahead and start with G minor. I could do that, but no. Go ahead and actually let me go ahead and increase the tempo a little bit because this is going to be okay. I want to go ahead and double that an octave down. That's 12 semitones down. In Western music, we use the semitone system, which means that there's 12 semitones within an octave. Yeah, there you go. See what I mean? Let's go ahead and get some long tones behind that to make it a little bit foggier. Okay. At this is oh, you can hear it for yourself. The music's not ready for that yet. It's not ready to throw in a seventh on a chord. Actually, I haven't even established a chord, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. This would actually be a great time to go ahead and include the tenor part, that tenare voice. Let's go ahead. Actually, that might work. Even though tenare is meant to hold with sort of a sustained thing, you can. The great thing about music is you can break rules. Because it's just a part, and if nothing else is playing, it doesn't matter if you're a tenor instrument or what you are. You've got the melody, and if you have the melody, well, that's how it goes, isn't it? So let's hear that again. I like where that's going. Oh, unless I were actually in the game, then I wouldn't like where that's going because, well, it's gonna mean a really nasty boss fight. Okay. Let's go ahead and make that. Let's go ahead and unjoin these whole notes. Let's go ahead and drop this guy 2 semitones. It's a whoa crap. Not up. Drop them. Dropping them is what we want to do. There we go. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Then we're gonna drop those as well. Actually, no. I think those are okay. I think those are just fine, actually. Because that's a great point to go ahead and stop with this sort of established, you know, dun, 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 and start spinning off new musical ideas from this. This one, we're just sort of establishing that, you know, sort of oh crap feel. I guess what I want to do then, let's go ahead and probably go ahead and copy this because, like I said before, sort of the way I do things is I start with a musical idea and then I expand on it. So sort of that staccato and legato bass is going to be at the heart of um, a couple of musical ideas, and then we're going to go off in a different direction, and then we're going to start returning to it, and that's going to be the loop point where when it hits the start of the song again, it will have returned to the original musical idea. So let's see. In the alto part, we can go ahead and also juggle parts around too. Another great thing about music is that they're not rules. It's sort of like the Pirates Code. They're more like guidelines. That's what I was trying to say before. Okay, so let's see how this sounds with the alto part sounding a mutation on that melody. Okay, it could use some work. It's not too bad. Hear it one more time. That's for my benefit, by the way. I think this chord's good, but these three need a little bit of adjustment if we're gonna salvage them into something sinister and sinister. And that means we're gonna have to unjoin some whole notes, but that's cool. So these, I'm not even gonna try to guess. What I'm gonna do instead is these are on G's. We're gonna go down to a low E flat. And with these, I'm gonna go down to a low. I'm gonna go to an F, so let's see what we get. I think those need to be on E flat. It's better. And it's even better, actually. Wait. Tighten next. Delete that. There we go. Tighten next. Save, because even with music you must be paranoid. And that's me just being a noob right there. Actually, I haven't looked in chat in some time. How's chat doing? Oh, hey there, Urban Mango. Okay, so let's see what we've got from the top. There we go. That's starting to sound a little bit more sinister. So let's go. And as that alto line takes the melody, we're going to go ahead and relegate the tenor part to more of a standard role where it's going to be sustaining a note that somehow matters to the chord. And there we go. So we've got sort of two good musical ideas started up there. What I can do is I can start writing the percussion now because I've sort of established the feel, and I can begin writing a percussion part that somehow matters. So probably what I want to do first is think a good cadence. No, that's way too high. That's a snare drum. There we go. Duck. Okay. So I can make that translate to one of those dotted quarters. Okay, let's see how that does for just that first musical idea. Okay, yeah, so that had some problems because it was beginning to overwhelm our bass line, and that's not good. One of the things I neglected to do though was to actually set the pan settings. Um, and I'm setting my settings like this for a very specific reason, and that has to do with how an actual orchestra is laid out. A real orchestra has the strings at your far left, so about this -30 position. Alto strings sort of on that inner left side, tenor strings about the inner right side, and then all of your bass instruments usually on the far right. And then our drums are usually somewhere over here. I usually like them about -20. Same for the cymbals. So let's see how that sounds. I hope you're wearing stereos. Actually, wait, before I get into that, we also need to normalize the volumes a little bit. Generally, or treble parts don't need to play quite as loud as their lower brethren. So what I can do instead is drop like that guy to 80, that guy to drop the alto to about 80 as well, tenor voice to 90, and then I'll treat the percussion as treble instruments. So there we go. Okay. Sounded a little bit more real that time, but well, we're still missing something with it. Let's see how it actually sounds though. So this is synth font. And before we go too far, I need to make some minor adjustments. The strings are generally okay. I like my standard sound fonts set up pretty well. The percussion can be a little bit on the iffy side. I like to use the standard kit sound font that I bought. And let's play to speakers. I think, actually no. Okay, so not too bad. Um, Need to go ahead and seriously boost these, boost the bass parts big time. And the tenor part could use a little bit more love, I think. Go ahead and save that arrangement. Let's try this again. Okay. Try one more time with the adjustments I made the midstream. Beautiful. All right, so let's see what else we've got here. Symbols don't have anything going on. Let's do something about that. That's way too low. That's not a crash symbol. Two, four, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll be a little bit more entertaining. I can go ahead and keep the snare drum ostinato. An ostinato is just something that's repeated a whole lot. I can keep that snare ostinato going throughout that passage, I think. So let's give it a shot. Go ahead and save it so that synth font picks it up. Okay, cool. So that sounds a little bit better. I need to add more to the symbol line in order to get this going. But I think we're ready to add another musical idea to this. And before I go too far, let me go ahead and start adding cues. Measure 1 is going to be our primary sort of the first idea. Starting at measure 9, though, we have a different idea that's sort of building on that. So I like to call that like A prime. These are more analytical things than anything else, but they can help. Okay. So what I really want to do now is I'll go ahead and keep the bass parts thundering along. So those are working out pretty well. I can always change them if I don't like them, so that's a thing. I'll go ahead and sort of extend the tenor part now to be more of a true tenor part where it's holding onto aspect of the chord. In this case, it's sort of going to be hanging on to this G root until I decide to change it for some reason. The alto part is going to do something a little bit different in a little bit, but right now I really want the soprano part now to come in be very, very sinister. This needs to be a little bit on the scary side. This is a boss fight. This isn't fluffy bunnies and kittens for everyone. I think something like that. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and clone this a few times. While we're at it, let's go ahead and create a queue at this point too. So this is where'd it go? Oh, I put it in the alto part. Okay, so this is going to be our B section. Actually, I want that to be a little bit faster. I feel it would be more impactful if it were faster. I can go ahead and do something with these last two measures. Go ahead and drop these down to a D. Actually, no, not quite that low. Maybe not. Maybe that was too low. There you go. That's sort of the way music works sometimes, is you have to try a few things and make something that sounds ugly to make something that sounds pretty. Okay. Let's go ahead and take it back to B. Mm. Okay, so I think that what I need to do is to go ahead and make these guys be a couple of B flats. There we go. And I can actually make those not be an F for once. I can make them, can make it be like an A, because an A sort of plays into that, that FAC. Yeah, there we go. FAC. It's a nice chord in G minor. It's a minor, because it's a major chord, actually. Okay, transpose up 2. Then transpose this up 3 semitones. Let's see how it sounds. So I think we're starting to get somewhere. The only thing that I'm worried about is there's not a lot of punch right here on sort of the on the B section, and some of that's because I'm missing symbols. Some of that's because I ain't do it right. Let's go ahead. Also, I'm sort of missing a couple of parts that could probably help us out and do something about that. Timpani's kind of an interesting instrument, where most instruments are chromatic instruments that can sound on any note. Timpani's is just a series of drums that you pre-tune for a particular chart to some given notes. So in this case, I'm going ahead and opting to keep the timpani in that G minor, sort of that G minor root chord. Uh, If you're wondering what happens if I change chords like I will, well, then the timpani stops playing unless it's a note in that chord that it can work with. So that's sort of the way that goes. But actually, it helps if I have the voice set correctly. Sort of where this E flat would happen is kind of a weird place. It can probably work because the G is the third of the E of the chord of that sort of E flat chord. Um, we'll have to listen to see what that does, though. But let's go ahead and just hear it with just sort of a naive timpani line in the song, and I'm gonna listen to it probably in synth font instead. So let's see what we got. I think the realistic sound font's all right for this too. Okay. So yeah, adding the symbol helped, but the that sort of naive timpani line doesn't really do a lot. I think when we get to the B section, sort of the A and A prime are a slower setup. Now, when we get to B, that's crap's gone down. Dun, 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 dun. It needs to be as loud and as oppressive and as present as it can be. So, of course, course, we need to make the timpani sort of play into what's going on at that point. Okay, I think that's working. The only criticism I have of what I've written, I say the only criticism, I've actually got way more criticisms, but we'll pretend I don't for a moment, is that I think that the timpani that is mirroring what's actually going on in the bass part is a little more suited to the track, even in the slow part. So so that's what I'm gonna make that do. And then this relationship here, I'll just go ahead and change that to being two whole notes, because that sort of decelerates the sort of the speed the track is going at in a weird way. Doesn't actually decelerate it; just makes it feel slower, and that's what counts. Okay, forgot synth font. Let's hear it sounding good. Okay, that sounded better. Sounded a lot better. There was an oddity that I can go back and address in a little bit. Probably the last thing I do before I go to question time is I can go ahead and add some harmony to this bit. That would add a little bit more dramatic tension to this. Okay. Let's see how that sounds in high quality. And I can just go ahead and skip most of this, so. Let me try saving again. Okay, round 2. That sounded a little bit more impactful. Finally, let's appreciate from the fact that we've gone from complete silence at the start of writing this tune to this. So yeah, got music. Totally got music. Not noticing anyone on stream right now, actually. It must have been pretty horrible when I was writing it, and well, I guess I can see why. But you know, that's how it goes. Note to self: don't do music on stream anymore. It can scare people off, apparently. But yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and stop that. I can continue that over the course of this coming week. Scare chord. Okay. So yeah, got a level, got a stronger boss, and this is probably a good time to go ahead and do my customary showing off of the game, sort of everything in retrospect. So go ahead and play through this on screen. Pick up some quests. Oh, that's what I never did. I never fixed those buttons. Yeah, I need to fix those. Although I may be rewriting all this in Unity GUI anyhow. Alright, so let's go to the ruins. Actually, no, let's not. Garland's still too strong. And I don't think we actually have the quest for the ruins, come to think about it. We also got to do something about the load time. That's kind of... it's kind of important. And it looks like I didn't pre-populate the quest. Okay, so that's a graphical glitch. I can figure that out. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, this is the boss fight that you're supposed to... this is the boss fight that you're supposed to have to go all the way into the caves, so that's a problem. I think this happened in the last one, too. Alright, there we go. So yeah, a quest that we didn't have to do enough work to actually complete, so... guess what I'm fixing this over this coming 2 weeks. To give you a hint, it involves what you just saw. There's also Z buffering issues with the tiles up there. Hey there, Termafire. How's it going, man? Alright, let's turn in this quest. So yeah, we got guard armor. So yeah, there we go. Sara's a little bit stronger by default, and that might actually give us the push to defeat Thanatos. We'll see if this helps, actually. I guess something else I can include is 8-direction movement. I guess I sort of see what some people see in 8-directional movement. Yeah, so this is sort of the initial disco floor puzzle. It's set up in a way that you can't possibly fail it, so that you learn that you have to trigger things in order to get doors to open. This I'm planning to remodel to be a little bit more complex. What the hell? Oh, that's right. We never had the quest because I started with the ambassadors it loads in Nuria City, so I can't get the garland. I can't get the nice call it garland. I'm thinking of the hero's journey, the Thanatos fight. Crap. Well, there we go. I was able to play through the thin slice though. That's kind of important. I'm not playing through it all the way again because it's actually close to time to end the stream. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to listen to any questions you got. Termafire, yes. Was I working on a 2D, 3D platformer? I was. I abandoned it because I didn't abandon the platformer. Well, I abandoned the platformer, not the game. This is actually the Eastern RPG you see. I transitioned the whole project. It actually didn't take quite as much effort as you would think it would. Um, the reason I transitioned this from a platformer to an Eastern RPG is because in Eastern RPGs, mechanics lent themselves more to what I wanted to do. Um, some of the playtesting that had happened on my old prototype, there was a little bit of uncertainty as to what I was trying to achieve, and I mean I'd heard that feedback, but as I was going forward, it's like I increasingly found myself limited by my own high level concept, sort of around this mage who uses barriers to protect people and stuff like that, and it didn't lend itself to a platformer as well as I thought it did. Um, so I wound up just saying, you know what? I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I've always wanted to make an Eastern RPG. I had a I had a broken down prototype that I was able to use, and well, the game is in the shape that it's in. Um, I'm planning to go back and make another platformer, probably something a little bit more orthodox in the future. Um, but yeah, that's sort of what's happened with this project. It's come a long way. It's come a long way though, and I'm very close to being able to put out an expanded. Uh, I call it a thin slice, where I just sort of show a large section of everything in the game. So right now there's a quest system, there's items, there's a battle system, there's boss battles, there's map puzzles, there's a world map, there's dungeons. There's all these things that you sort of have to to claim membership with a given genre. And so far the response I've had on this has actually been pretty positive. People have generally liked it. They've had fun even with my horribly unfinished prototypes. So that's what I'm doing. I definitely hope you are enjoying it too. I saw you came in near the end of near the end of the broadcast here. Um, that's why I also wanted to do my playthrough that I usually do at the start, that I usually did at the start of my episodes, so that you could see what I've done. Um, yeah, I agree. It's a good foundation. It's got a heck of a long way to go. Um, Sort of what I'm working on right now is parts of the main quest. Unlike my last project, the main quest is going to be a lot shorter and a lot simpler. Um, Really, the main quest of the game is you go through these three dungeons. You find the three pieces of the on seal. It's a legendary shield. Take them to a forge. Reforge the shield and go defeat the final boss. In and of itself, if you don't want story, the story is going to be optional, and that's sort of the way I'm thinking of it. Um, and then through the side quests, I will be able to flesh out a little bit more of the world, and I'll be able to provide some additional challenges. Um, One of the things that I'm trying to be a little bit more careful of, though, is to make it harder to just take that direct path. Um, in theory, it should be ever so slightly beatable if you don't want to do any additional side quests. But I'm trying to figure out ways to make that direct route, as hard and difficult in a fun way, but sort of it's grating enough that okay, I had fun with it, but there's got to be a better way, and then let people do side quests and get power and get new pieces of equipment and items and new abilities and party members. Yeah, so this has a long ways to go, but it's a lot further than the old platformer setup was. So I'm thinking this is going to be good. I'm trying not to use too much time. I mean, the hero's journey took me 10 months, and I think I on this version of the game I'm already up to 2 months. So I'm really trying to get my stuff into gear and get a good game put out a little bit more quickly than I did the last time. Um, but that involves me changing some of how I do things too. Um, so yeah, I'm glad you're still paying attention to this project, and I hope it'll continue in the future. So yeah, it's about 10 o'clock. I've done a lot of music composition in this episode. Um, I did a little bit of boss fight balancing in the beginning, and I feel that went well. It, yeah, I think this is going to be pretty awesome. So with that, I think I'll go ahead and leave the stream. I've got a lot of stuff to work on as far as the game is concerned over the next couple of weeks, and that's assuming my day job doesn't get involved in the fray. But yeah, I certainly hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'm going to be broadcasting again about 8:30, 8:45 in 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I'll do a speed run of Dragon Warrior 1 this week or anything. I might not even I might not broadcast at all. I might just put my head down and try to beat out the expanded thin slice and get the first two pieces of the main storyline done. I think that's probably the more important thing I can do, and fill in some more of the sprites and get more of the game done because it's coming along. We've got a game, we've got a JRPG, and it has potential to be a good JRPG. I feel I just need to not screw it up. So with that, 10 o'clock. I've kept you up late enough. I guess I will be seeing y'all later. Hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. As always, until next time, have a good one. Night night.